ॐ श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Would like to chant? Yeah, Anirudh. Let's chant from 23. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samjnitam.
Tam vidyad dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam.
Sanischayena yoktavyaha.
Sanischayena yoktavyaha.
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
Sankalpa prabhavan kaman.
Sankalpa prabhavan kaman.
Tyaktva sarvana sheshataha.
Tyaktva sarvana sheshataha.
Manasaivendriyagramam.
Manasaivendriyagramam.
Viniyamya samantataha.
Viniyamya samantataha.
Shanai shanairuparamit.
Shanai shanairuparamid.
Buddhya dhriti grihitaya.
Buddhya dhriti gruhitaya.
Atma samstham manah kritva.
Atma sanstham manah krutva.
Na kinchidapi chintayet.
Na kinchidapi chintayet.
Yato yato nischarati.
Yato yato nischarati.
Manaschanchalamasthiram.
मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम्
Tatastato niyam yaitat.
ततस्ततो नियम्यैतद्
Atmanyeva vasham nayet.
आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्
Prashantamanasam hyenam.
प्रशान्तमनसं येनं
Yoginam sukhamuttamam.
योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
Upaiti shantarajasam.
उपैति शान्तरजसम्
Brahma bhutama kalmasham.
ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्
Yunjannevam sadatmanam.
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
Yogi vigata kalmashaha.
योगी विगतकल्मषः
Sukhena brahma samsparsham.
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम्
Atyantam sukhamashnute.
अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते
Sarvabhutasthamatmanam.
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं
Sarvabhutani chatmani.
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
Ikshate yoga yuktatma.
इक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
Sarvatra samadarshanaha.
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः
So we were studying shloka number 29 in the last class. Atmanam ikshate. One who sees Atma. Atmanam ikshate. Right? That is the main sentence. Yoga yuktatma Atmanam ikshate. That is the main sentence. The yoga yuktatma, okay, the one who has pursued this nididhyasanam, this contemplation, okay, that dhyana yogena yuktaha, one who is for him, dhyanam is natural for that person, okay, that person whose mind is resolved by this is this dhyanam. Mind is resolved by this dhyanam means what? So we start imagining things, these words, the thing, that's why English words, we have to be careful. Any word we have to be careful, but realization, if I say, realization means, how will you imagine realization? Means you realize something. You have to think that something has happened to you. Unless somebody explains it to you, you have to start imagining things. And realization, self-realization. So we say jnana. Jnana, all the way we say knowledge. Then we understand what knowledge is. We know to a large extent what knowledge is, and so we stick with knowledge. We don't self-knowledge versus self-realization. I prefer the word self-knowledge. Puja Swamiji always stuck with the word knowledge. No need to introduce the word realization because it has a potential for confusion. Puja Swamiji would always say that. He'd say there are only two things that you realize. One is you realize the principle that you invested and then you got the money back and then you loaned or whatever. You realize the principle, you realize the interest, all this you realize the interest. The other thing you realize is you realize your mistake. Okay. So these are the two things you can realize. But everywhere else where we have to use knowledge, we will use the word jnanam or knowledge. Okay. Now, here, look at this. So this yoga yuktatma, that person has the clarity of this vision, which he's going to talk about in the first line. He's talking about that. Sarva bhutastam atmanam, sarva bhutani cha atmani. That is the vision. This is the vision of Vedanta. So we're going to look into that some more. And that person is a yoga yukta atma. So like the person who is a musician, and he knows all the ragas that are there, everything is there, and he's just completely, the baby is crying at home. Baby is crying, and the wife is saying, "Come on, go find out go look, baby is crying." And this fellow says, "Do you know what? Do you know?" And look at the raga in which the baby was crying. Did you know that? You know the Malcolm's raga? And she's saying, "Hey, the baby is crying, okay? This Malcolm's and all you can keep for another time, okay?" And like that. This fellow is always looking for, wherever he sees, he's seeing raga on. And then the 3 days it's been raining. And I think you failed to notice. This raga also is Hindolam. Hindolam raga. And then when he says, no, it's raining, not Hindolam means don't think it's different from Malkons. Hindolam and Malkons are identical. They're same raga, different language itself. So that's don't say it's raining and all. Bhagavan is singing to us like that, he says. So wherever sounds come, he's hearing only ragas. So that person, he's an accomplished musician, but sometimes he can become impractical also. So without becoming practical, you have the clear vision, and that person is a yoga yukta atma. And then, so we talked about this sarva bhutastam atmanam ikshate. We saw that. So the one who sees the self in all beings. Okay, we saw that last time. And the part 2 of that line is sarva bhutani cha atmani. Sarva bhutani. All beings are in Atma. That is the literal translation of this. Sarva bhutani cha atmani. So we began discussing that, and we said this is our Satya Nitya discussion, and this is a resolution, right? And so we said there are 3 kinds of resolution. One is laya, nitya laya. So in deep sleep, the whole world is gone. Gone. For me, the whole world is gone. That is nitya laya. It happens every day. Therefore, nityam. Nityam there is not permanent. Nityam means continuous, always happens. As long as I'm alive, it happens to me. Okay. Nitya laya. And then there is the pralaya or mahapralaya. Pralaya is cosmic resolution, where the world that is manifest goes away, disappears in its form. Nothing disappears, really speaking. So we salute law of conservation of mass and energy and all that. We have no problem with that. Vedanta can have no problem with something like that. Conservation, if you say, no problem, because nothing can be lost. Things can change, go from here and there, this form to that form, and this energy to that energy, solar energy to electricity to mechanical energy. Fan is rotating. Hey, the sun is making the fan rotate. Can you believe that? So we have technology which converts the solar energy to something that you can see here inside your room, and that shows the transformation is possible, and all that we have no problem. So this Mahapralaya, manifest world becoming unmanifest, Mahapralaya. Like the manifest world in me becomes unmanifest, disappears completely. So that is Mahapralaya. Okay. Then, and we explained a little bit about Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya last time. And then this pralaya that is talked about, this resolution, sarva bhutani cha atmani, that's what we are talking about here. This is called atyanta pralayam. Atyanta pralayam. Okay. This is the ultimate resolution that's possible. Ultimate resolution. Okay. So this is our pot. This is our pot. And we say, wherever I touch, there is clay. Inside I touch also, there is clay only. Inside, deep inside the pot, it's clay. Everywhere it's clay, 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 everywhere. Everywhere it's clay. So then I have to ask, where is the pot? So if clay is there everywhere, then still previously this particular form was not there some time ago. Before this Kartika Masa, that pot, the thing was not there. And so I know that pot was born. Pot has a date of birth. Clay does not have a date of birth, but pot has a date of birth. Okay. Okay, that is acceptable. And then pot will have a date of expiry also. And so, but at this, therefore, pot seems to have come into existence. Seems to have come into existence. Pot came into existence. Then we will say pot seems to have come into existence because the clay says, where is pot? Clay, if you ask clay, where is pot? I don't know. You're saying there is a pot. I don't think there is a pot. That's what clay will say. Because every part of this object is clay only. And so you just did something to me and you say there is a pot. And I'm still surviving. I'm there very much. And so when you say there is apparently a pot, that pot of course is mithya then. That mithya comes. Mithyatam is so important. Understand that. Mithya we don't say is non-existent. Mithya is dependently existent. Dependently existent. That is mithya. Okay. But then Mandukya says, you know what? Mandukya Upanishad, if you study, it says pot does not exist. Pot does not exist. How will you deal with that? Clay is all that exists. That's all it says. So you go from pot exists, pot is Satyam. Then you say, no, pot is not Satyam, pot is Mithya. Because what? Because you have to deal with clay. You have to deal with clay. Then only you can talk about pot. Then pot is Mithya. And then Mandukya says pot doesn't exist. Pot dependently existing is no different than saying pot does not exist. This is what Mandukya says. Okay. So anyway, these are words. But the important thing is when I tell you that pot is mithya, pot's existence depends purely on clay's existence. You understand very well that Satyam is clay and pot is Nama Rupa. Correct? Name and form only. There is no other substance. The pot cannot have a resume at all. At best, its resume will say it's a name. My name. Somebody has given me a name called pot, and then there are some attributes which make people call me a pot. Nama and Rupa. Name, form. Form can include function also. Name, form. Okay. When I say that, and when you say I appreciate it, do I have to break the pot in order for you to appreciate that pot is mithya? For you to appreciate pot is mithya, do I have to destroy this pot and say, look, pot came into being few weeks ago. Now watch, and then I break this pot into pieces. There is no pot. Look, I have a bunch of clay in my hands. I don't have to say that. Do I have to say that? No, I don't have to say that. I don't have to say it. Therefore, that appreciation is there very much without any change in this world, without changing the world at all. You appreciate this fact. You appreciate the fact of Mithya. I don't have to, for you to appreciate that the sun is stationary, the teacher does not have to stop the sun from moving. Wait, I'm teaching children, okay, just wait for a while. Let them see you, that you are stationary. Then you can move. No, we don't have to stop the sun for you to appreciate that sun really does not move at all. The earth is the one that rotates and revolves and all this. Correct? You have crystal clear understanding of it, even though the perception is very much there. Nobody can change the perception of the sun's motion. Correct? Nobody can change. Even Bhagavan cannot change it. because that is how it is. Relative motion means it's like that. And you will always see the sun rising and setting. That is why every day sunrise and sunset. But no educated person, you can never tell the educated person to even believe for some time that the sun is actually moving. Not possible. Once you get that knowledge, nobody can't say, I'll pay you some money. Please think that the earth is, sun is stationary. Sun is moving. No, because knowledge has taken place. Okay. So nothing can stop you from knowing that truth. And once you know it, then resolved. The motion of the sun is completely resolved. Atyanta pralaya. Same thing here also. Here, the clay is satyam, pot is mithya. Pot has been completely resolved. Clay sustains the pot. Clay sustains the pot. Whatever idea of pot it is, clay sustains the pot. Clay is the cause of the pot. Can we say clay is the cause of the pot? Clay is the cause of the pot. Upadana karanam. Hey, clay, without clay, there's no pot. Therefore, clay is what gave birth to the pot. And clay continues to remain even after giving birth to the pot. Clay continues to remain. And therefore, clay is karanam. Clay is karanam. And pot is what? Karyam. Sanskrit word karyam means effect. Technical word it is. Karyam also means work, etc. And kriya, etc. That also means karyam. But here, karana karyam means cause effect. Cause effect. Okay. Now, this cause and effect, and in this cause and effect is mithya. Cause, karanam is satyam. But then, how can satyam change to become mithya? Did satyam change to become mithya? If satyam changes, then it is not satyam. It is anityam. It is anityam. Therefore, if you say effect is there, real, then I'm forced to say the cause is clay. Then once you understand it, you recognize that satyam really does not create the karyam. Because if you say satyam created the karyam, then the satyam is a karta. Satyam is an actor. Okay, he's an actor. Many people say he's a bad actor. He's an actor. And he created, he has kartrutvam. Karanam has kartrutvam. Okay, so initially you go from karana karyam. Clay is the cause for the pot. Then you say there is really no creation at all. Karanam cannot have karanatvam. And karanam is only with respect to karyam. Karyam is only with respect to karanam. If you say there is an effect, something was caused, is creation there? If you say yes, then I have to say yes, there is a cause for that creation. Then when you understand everything is Brahma, then what will you say? Both are relative standpoints. Standpoint, with respect to creation, there is a cause. With respect to cause, there is a creation. Correct? I'm the son of so-and-so. Rama is the son of Dasharatha. If you say, okay, I understand that. Dasharatha and Kausalya. Okay. But then, who is Rama? If you say, absolutely, fundamentally, who is Rama? You can't say Rama is the son of Dasharatha because that's a relative definition. With respect to Dasharatha and Kausalya, Rama is the son. With respect to others, he is not son. With respect to Lava and Kusha, he is father. So Rama is father or son? Relative. If you think of relationships, then I will say he is father of so and so, he is son of so and so. But fundamentally, who is Rama? Then we get into a problem. Without something to relate to, you cannot define Rama. Then you have to say Ayodhya. Oh, Rama was born in Ayodhya. Then Rama became the king of Ayodhya. And before that, he left Ayodhya. He was the one who spent so many years in forest. He was the one who was kicked out by so and so. All this you can say. You have to bring so many other things in order to describe Rama. Without bringing other things, you can't describe Rama. Without Ramayana, you can't describe Rama. Correct? Rama is the one who gave moksha to Alya. Something you have to say. You have to describe. Rama means you have to bring so many other things. People have to be brought, country has to be brought, and all the things he did has to be brought. Correct? So fundamentally, who is Rama? If you say, we get into this thing. Karana Karyam. And it is Karanam if you think Karyam is real. It is Karyam if you think Karanam is there. Once you come to know everything, then what? Then Shastram will say, this is called Atyanta Pralayam. Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. All pots are in clay. All pots are in clay. That's a fair statement. I think that is acceptable because all pots are sustained by clay, no doubt. And so Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. And that Atma, of course, is the Satya Vastu. But Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani, if somebody says, all beings are in Atma, if somebody says, then it is like what? Is it like uh, the pot is on the book? The pot is on the book. Is it like that? All beings are in clay, or something is in the pot. Okay, something is in the pot. The pencil is in the pot. Okay, there is a pencil. It's hard to see, but yeah, there is a pencil there. The pencil is in the pot. Okay, like that. Is that what is meant here? Sarva Bhutani cha Atma. Well, pot is in clay. If you say, hey, if pot were a separate object, then we can talk about in, under, and to the side of, etc., underneath and above and all that. But really speaking, pot is not an object separate from clay. Pot is non-separate from clay. Because pot is non-separate from clay, this in, on, and all that will not have the meanings that we normally think of when we say A is in B, A is on B, etc. So this in, because Atmani is Saptami, in Sanskrit students know very well. Atmani, Saptami Vibhakti. So Balika Vidyalaye Patati. The girl studies in the school. Okay, that in is Saptami. Seventh case, which is the same here, Atmani, seventh case, correct? In. But that Vidyalaya in and this Atmani in are two different ins. Okay, two different ins. And one is locative, Adhikarana Saptami. Here, pot is in clay. Location doesn't look like location. Rope is on snake. I mean, snake is on rope. Snake is on the rope. Obviously, snake is on the rope. Where else can it be? Snake is not where else can the snake be? You can't see the snake on your chair. Has anybody seen a snake on a chair? Means the chair itself looks like a snake. That's what I mean. Snake can move around and wriggle on the chair. Okay, that's possible. But you can't confuse the chair itself to be snake. Not possible. You can't confuse an elephant to be a snake. Not possible. So even for that mistake to happen, the adhara, the object on which you are about to project should be somewhat like what you're going to project. Correct? Somewhat like. Okay. So in all these examples, there is no location per se. If you say snake is on the rope, then it is not like the pencil is on the pot or the pot is on the book. Because then if you say that, then I will ask, what is under the rope? What is under the rope? If snake is on the rope, what is under the rope? If I lift the snake, then you can see the rope. If the snake moves away, then I can see the rope. Snake did a very good job of covering the rope completely, correct? Boy, it's amazing. It loves the rope so much that it just hugged the rope so well that I got completely confused. Okay. So anyway, here There are no two objects. There is only one object. And so, Satya Vastu Eva Asti Atra. And so, Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani means Sarva Bhutani, no being is separate from Atma. So, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam, Atma is in all beings. Initially, I thought Atma was just in my body. Then I thought many Atmas are there moving around here, creating a lot of trouble. And so many Atmas are there. Then Krishna makes it clear it is only one Atma that is there everywhere. Then he says, so that you don't get confused, he says, Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. The beings are in Atma. Exactly opposite of the statement Atma is in the beings. Two are opposite statements, contradictory statements. If both have to be true at the same time, there is only one possibility. What is the possibility? There is nothing but Atma. There is nothing but Atma. But why is Krishna using all this flowery language, Sarva Bhutani, etc.? Well, that's because I only got confused. He is addressing a confused person. That the world is separate from me. The world is real, absolutely real. I am absolutely real. I am this body. And if I say I am this body, then body is Satyam. And whatever body goes through, it has to go through. And that is not acceptable to me. Mortality is not acceptable to anybody in this world. Correct? That is a fundamental problem. We should never forget it. We are not studying something that some theory, something, we should be always connected back to us. Connect it back. Then only Shastra will shine. It will be part of you. Otherwise, this is theory, and then something else is happening. Life is tough. And then Shastram is good to hear for a couple of hours. And then life, back to life, So yeah, initially it might be like that. But slowly, it grows into us. And therefore, Atyanta Pralaya, that is the idea that is described here. And this is what we call moksha. This Atyanta Pralaya is called moksha. So last satsang, there was a question. So many interpretations are there for the Shastram. Same text, but different people interpret it differently. How is it possible? See, there are so many conferences you have attended. Okay, all this science conferences, intellectual conferences, psychology, whatever your field, favorite field, there is always a conference going on. Okay, Association of Indian Medical Practitioners, Indian Optometrists Association. I'm sure there is something. All these associations are there. So what do they discuss there? You think everybody agrees on everything in the conference? The whole purpose of a conference is to bring up with all the different views. We think science is all deterministic and all that. Nothing is deterministic. The whole conference I've been to some talks where people argue with each other, and it is supposed to be 25 minutes plus 5-minute Q&A. Next speaker is waiting. Big arguments going on. Why argument is going on? Huh? Everything is defined, right? Science, everything is defined. Nothing is defined. People are still arguing about definitions. Okay, that is what a conference is meant for. So when it comes to thinking like this, we have to process it. It takes time to process all this. It takes time. So finally, they'll come to a conclusion sooner or later. What was thought to be true 10 years ago is now disproved. Is it possible? We see it all the time. Medicine, of course, you ask any doctor, they will tell you, oh, previously we thought this was a medicine. Now we found it's a carcinogen. Carcinogen. We've been giving carcinogens to people all these years. So what happened? What happened? Did you not have brains before or what? No, we had brains before. All were good. It's a medical community. We've been having conferences. We've been debating. Now we are coming to this conclusion. So they're changing their own conclusion. You keep on changing your conclusion. That's the amazing thing. And so, therefore, it is possible to have many interpretations. Number one. Okay. Number two, you have to ask when somebody says something like that. Now you have some questions you can ask. Is your definition of moksha praptasya praptihi or apraptasya praptihi? Correct? You have to ask the question. Fine, you have a definition of moksha, I have a definition of moksha, she has a definition of moksha. Is it praptasya praptihi or apraptasya praptihi? If he says, what? Is it gaining what has not been gained, or is it gaining what has already been gained? If he says it is apraptasya prapti, it is only two possibilities, correct? Is there a third possibility? There is no third possibility. Either you can gain what you don't have, or you can gain what you have. Those are two possibilities. If he says it is apraptasya prapti, good. At least you know what that moksha is. It's a great achievement. He also agrees that it is apraptasya prapti, and you understand what apraptasya prapti. Great. So okay, perfect. We have no argument here. And apraptasya prapti means gaining what has not been gained. And that means what? How do you gain it? You must do A, B, C, D in order to gain this moksha. That do A, B, C, D means it is karma. Karmana moksha. By karma, moksha is gained. He will also agree with you on that. She will also agree with you. Yeah, karmana, you have to gain the grace of Ishvara. Then Ishvara will take you to heaven, and then etc. will be there. Great. Karmana moksha. No problem. Then I will say, karmana moksha, if you say, karma is finite, therefore moksha also is finite. Karma is anityam, therefore moksha is anityam. I'm not disagreeing with whatever you say, I agree. But I'm saying your moksha that you're talking is anityam. It's not nityam. For example, this is Vaikuntha is there. Yes, Vaikuntha is there. Even I agree Vaikuntha is there. Okay. Vedanti does not disagree with Vaikuntha and all. See, Vedanti, we have no problem. Let Vaikuntha is very much there. What will happen after you die? I will go and Vishnu Padam, I will just Prapatti, I will be with Vishnu. Good, very nice. In fact, even in the way I am also doing great things in life, I think Vishnu will take me also. We'll have no problem. I'll also join you. We don't know when you will go, whether you will go first or I'll go first, I don't know. And finally, both of us will go to the same place. Okay, we'll be there. I have no problem. But then, if you say I entered Vaikuntha at some point, day and time, then I will say that heaven is Nityam or Anityam. It has to be Anityam because it is a place. It is not Mother Earth. It is something other than Mother Earth. Somewhere else. Okay, somewhere else means it's finite, number one. And anything that is finite is Anityam. So I agree with everything you say. And your definition of moksha is different from my definition of moksha. And the moksha you're talking about is anityam. I can stand up and say this in front of a million people. You tell me whatever you want. Is there moksha praptasya praptihi or apraptasya praptihi? That is what. The only way something can be eternal is if it is always been eternal and it cannot be produced. Eternality cannot be a result of karma, action. This is a big thesis. This is the foundation. Try to negate that statement. Try to disprove that statement. Nasti akritaha kritena. Mundaka Upanishad. Nasti akritaha kritena. Karmana. Atmabodha. Whatever you create from karma, what is this? Upadesha Sara. Correct? What is the first shloka? Anyway, I'm not getting these shlokas. I don't know why. So, Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kim phalam karma tajjadam. Karma is jadam, he says. He uses the word jada. What is jada? Jada is anitya. Karma phalam, he says, moksha cannot be karma phalam. Cannot be a result of karma. Karma is finite. Result also is finite. You will get it. You will guarantee it. In fact, the moksha that he's talking about is also guaranteed because he has a way of saying if you do like this, if you do all these things, then moksha will be guaranteed. Yes, I also agree with that. Moksha will be guaranteed. But that moksha, kshine punya martya lokam vishanti, that moksha will get exhausted after some time. This stays with Vishnu also. It comes with an expiry date. That's all I will say. No, our Shastram says it won't expire. Hey, you don't need a Shastram to say whether it expires or not expire. I'm saying that any place, when you say place, it's finite. That's it. You entered, if you say, did you enter? Are you going to enter it? Yes, I'm going to enter. Either you will exit it or it will disappear and it will exit you. That's all. These are the two possibilities. You'll be left hanging. Every scientist will agree with that. That is why scientists love Vedanta, because it's very rational. There is no, and we need to say all this because Bhagavatam, for example, there is so much rasa there, and it says, oh, God left and I became sad, and then God came back, Krishna came back, and then all the Gopikas became happy. So it basically tells that, and this bhakti is so important, and so that bhakti is what I am separate from you, and therefore when two things are separate, bhakti is possible. Bhakti is possible, and that is called apara bhakti. And then in this next shloka we'll see that more. And here it is para bhakti, para bhakti, the bhakti between Ishvara and Jiva, where Ishvara and Jiva are identical. Okay, so we'll see that. So our condition, we are conditioned to think God is separate from me. That is how we lead our lives. Nothing wrong per se with that, but that is apara bhakti. It should lead us to para bhakti. Okay, very, very, very beautiful the way Shastra takes us forward. So therefore, I hope that was somewhat helpful here. So let's come back to the shloka number 29. Let's translate it. And 29 and 28 go together, as we said. So let's look at 29. One whose mind is resolved by this contemplation. We are translating number 29. One whose mind is resolved by this contemplation. Who has the vision of sameness everywhere, one whose mind is resolved by this contemplation, comma, who has the vision of sameness everywhere, comma, sees the self abiding in all beings, sees the self abiding in all beings. Abiding means remaining, staying. Abiding is a beautiful word, but if you use existing, staying, and all that, we can get into the interpretation that there are two objects. A is in B, so that's why we use the word abiding. Sees the self abiding in all beings and all beings in the self, and all beings in the self. One whose mind is resolved by this contemplation, comma, one who has the vision of sameness everywhere, comma, sees the self abiding in all beings and all beings in the self. Okay. Yeah, Haraprasadji. Yeah, I said 20, 28 and 29 go together. I said, no, I take that back. That's not correct statement. 27 and 28 kind of go together, because in one it says yoginam sukham upaiti. The sukha approaches the yogi. In the other case, the yogi approaches the sukha. Like that we said, right? So that contrast was brought forward in that 27 and 28. 29 and 30 go together. We'll see why. Okay, let's chant number 30. Yeah, Harprasadji, if you can. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र
sarvam cha mayi pashyati
सर्वं सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
tasyaham na pranashyami
तस्याहं न प्रणिष्यामि
sa cha me na pranashyati
स च मे न प्रणश्यति
yo mam pashyati sarvatra
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र
sarvam cha mayi pashyati
सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
tasyaham na pranashyami
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि
sa cha me na pranashyati.
स च मे न प्रणश्यति
Yeah. So, so now if you begin comparing this shloka with the previous shloka, okay, previous shloka, what was said? Ikshate. Yoga yuktatma atmanam ikshate. Ikshate is pashyati. Okay, ikshate is pashyati, sees. Here also the word pashyati is used. Sees, correct? Who sees? Yaha. Yo. Yo is Yaha. The one who sees. The one who sees. Okay. The one who sees. The one who sees what? Mam. 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 Mam is one who sees me. Krishna is saying, telling Arjuna, one who sees me. Okay. One who sees me. The previously Yoga Yuktatma sees Atma. Okay. Then let's continue. Sarvam cha mayi pashyati. Okay. Okay. Yomam pashyati sarvatra. Sarvatra is everywhere. One who sees me everywhere. One who sees me everywhere. Now, sarvam cha mayi pashyati. My sarvam pashyati, the one who sees everything in me. Mayi means in me. Mayi. Saptami, ekavachana. Mayi. Correct? So in me. One who sees me in everything and everything in me. Correct? Sounds very similar to the previous shloka. Right? One who sees everything, one who sees Atma in everything and everything in Atma. Correct? That was the previous shloka. Now it is same thing, except the Atma is replaced by what? Me. I. Atma is replaced by me. Me here is what? Ishvaraha. Me is Krishna. Krishna talking. Krishna talking. And so the question should arise, who is this me that Krishna is talking about? Is he referring to this Krishna Avatara, the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, who grew up in this, brought up by Yashoda, and this Kanhaiya? Is it this man who was playing the flute and a Chanura Mardana? Is he this man, Krishna, that we are talking about? We know him so well, and no way, nobody can. There is so many people, billion people know who Krishna is. Okay, and so this is that Krishna who came after Rama, who did not exist during Rama's time. Okay, he didn't exist. Okay, afterwards he came. Is it that Krishna that is being talked about? Well, Yomam Sarvatra Pashyati, one who sees me everywhere. So when we say Krishna, we are giving attributes to Ishvara. We are giving attribute. We are saying we are giving, here is Ishvara, who was born in the form of a human being to so and so at this particular time, etc. Therefore, there is an upadhi. All those attributes are called upadhi. Upadhi is a particular form with so many attributes. Okay. and born at so and so time, wearing this kind of dress, playing this kind of instrument, and this kind of life, and then Devaki born to Devaki, and then eating butter all day, etc. All this we give to Krishna. That is called Upadhi. That Upadhi is what defines Krishna. Okay. Now, by definition, Upadhi is limited. Upadhi is limited. Means it describes only that form, and there are gopis, there are cows, there are so many things, the entire world is there. Okay. And everything is different, obviously. So here, this I cannot refer to Krishna per se. It has to refer to me as an Ishvara. Ishvara. Ishvara, Bhagavan, Ishvara. And so, because Sarvatra is used here, one who sees me everywhere. Okay. And so, look at this. So, one who sees me everywhere, one who sees me as the basis. Okay. As the basis, like the clay is the basis for the pot. One who sees clay in all clay objects, like that, one who sees me, and by using the word me here, is quietly bringing him the Mahavakyam. Correct? Mahavakyam. What is Mahavakyam? Atma, I, and Ishvara, he, she, you, that. All along I've been thinking they were different. But then here he says, indirectly he's saying, I means Atma, you Atma, and I, Ishvara, both are identical. Because these two statements are identical. The statement, the first line of the previous shloka and the first line of this shloka are identical, except for the word Atma and I. Correct? That is the only difference here. Therefore, Mahavakyam. Two combined, it is Mahavakyam. Okay? Beautiful. Therefore, that I am the Adhishtanam, and then Sarvam cha Mayi Pashyati. Everything in me, like in the previous shloka, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Sarvam, Sarva Bhutani, Cha Mayi, Mayi in me, one who sees all beings in me. Okay, so that I am the Karanam for the entire Jagat. Previously, Atma is the Karanam for the entire Jagat. Now, I am the Karanam for the entire Jagat. He says, I, Ishvara, is the Karanam. Therefore, Atma and Ishvara are not different. They are identical, essentially identical. Correct? And therefore, that's being said here. And we have to, we have a couple of more minutes left. So Ishvara, all pervasive, is we know it. Even before studying Shastram, we knew it. Okay. Bhagavan to sab kahan nahi hai. Everything is Bhagavan. We knew it. And so, when Ishvara is everywhere, then how can that Bhagavan, Ishvara, be separate from me, the consciousness? Not possible. It can't be. Bhagavan cannot be separate from me. If you say Bhagavan is all pervasive, then I am included in this. And but then the thought has come, yeah, I am included in Ishvara's all pervasiveness, but I am a part of Ishvara. I can never be Ishvara. How can you are joking? You're making the whole Shastram is so stupid, and you're coming and telling that you are Ishvara. How you can be Ishvara? Say you're a part of Ishvara. Give some respect to Ishvara. What is this? He is the one who created you and gave you such a great life. And you are coming and saying, I am Ishvara. Be a little, something you must have in your mind. And you can't be so arrogant. And say you're part of Ishvara. Correct. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm a fraction, small fraction of this Jagat. And this Jagat being Ishvara, I am a part of this Ishvara. I am a part of Ishvara. Just like I am the amoeba can say, the bacteria in the intestine can say, I'm a part, a small part of this whole body, mind, sense complex, right? The bacteria has no way of appreciating this body, and it is there, and it plays an important role also, because if those bacteria don't exist, then digestion won't happen in the body. So now the question is this: if I say, if the statement is I am part of Ishvara, who is that I that is part of Ishvara? Is this body, mind, sense complex that you're looking at? Is that part of Ishvara? Do you mean that as part of Ishvara? Or is it the consciousness that I am that is part of Ishvara? What is the I that you're talking about? That is one question. Second question: if I am part of Ishvara, like, where is our pencil? Here is a pencil. And pencil is the whole. Pencil is Ishvara. And then inside there is a nice lead also. Lead is part of the pencil. Lead is part of the pencil. Now, does the pencil depend on the lead or not? That is the question. Does the pencil depend on the parts of the pencil? Let's put it even more explicitly. If the answer is no, then give me those parts. Give me those parts on which the pencil does not depend, because I can use it somewhere else. Okay, why are you wasting the lead? You just let the pencil be without the lead. That will become the problem. If you say no, the pencil depends on its parts, then Ishvara depends on me. All along you've been telling I depend on Ishvara's grace, I depend on Ishvara, Ishvara gave birth to me, etc. Now you are telling me I am a part of Ishvara, therefore now Ishvara has to depend on me, because without me the creation is incomplete. And so I give existence to Ishvara. Each of us gives existence to Ishvara. Without us, there is no world. Okay, that becomes a problem. So all these questions will come. And so who is dependent on what? Ishvara is dependent on me, or I am dependent on Ishvara? If I am dependent on Ishvara, then Ishvara cannot be all pervasive. Okay, all kinds of problems will come. I am dependent on Ishvara means you have separated me from Ishvara. Bhagavan is there. There's a very mighty guy, and I depend on his all the things bits he throws at me, and then periodically I catch those bits. Fine, that kind of dependence can be there. That we don't need Bhagavan. Even our local fellows, they make us feel that we are so dependent on all this. This whole government is supposed to help us, and we feel that we are very dependent on them, and they frustrate our lives. And so this idea is very clear. And therefore now I project that same idea to Bhagavan, so that this Bhagavan who is there somewhere and we don't know, I'm dependent on him. So I periodically offer my archana to him so that he is happy with me. Okay. All these problems will start coming if you have a different type of contention. And so when I say somebody says I'm part of Ishvara, they are referring most likely to the body, mind, sense complex as a part. That means I am Satyam. Body, mind, sense is Satyam. Ishvara is also Satyam. The world is Satyam. Your body is Satyam. My body is also Satyam. Everything is Satyam. Many Satyams will be there. Which is what they say also. Ishtadvaita will say that. Dvaitam also will say that. Many Satyams are there. Then we will say the moksha that you are talking about, going to a particular place, is anityam. It cannot be nityam. We are not denying at all that you will go to heaven. In fact, we want you to go to heaven. That also I will say. And go to heaven. But then it is anityam. Don't tell me come back later and say, oh, I made a mistake. So you are welcome to go. And punyam is like that. That's how punyam works. Punyam gives you better experiences. And whether it is experience in this loka or any other loka is different. But are you happy or not? As long as you're happy, it really doesn't matter which loka you are at. Somebody can argue like that also, is it not? Hey, if I'm happy, then how does it matter what I have and what I don't have? As long as that happiness does not depend on what I have. If you say my happiness depends on everything I have, then we have a problem. So that even other philosophies won't accept that. So to that extent they agree. So anyway, all these discussions are there. And so Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam cha Mai Pashyati, exactly a copy of line 1 of Shloka number 29 with the word Atma removed or replaced by the word I. Okay, that is the Shloka we are studying here. See how interesting it is, and the way Krishna is presenting and how we are trying to understand it. So we'll continue this discussion in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.